Hi, I'm Veronica, a somatic yoga teacher and a specialist in dealing with anxiety and its bodily symptoms. And I would like to welcome you in the second episode of my mini-series where I look at letting go, both physically and mentally. So I will continue with showing you ways how to release tension from your body. And today's method is actually, I think, one of the most pleasant ones that you can come across. And it is about bouncing and shaking and basically letting your body loose. And I would say it's a great method if you're more in the moment, or you just want to kind of release what has just happened and make it more processed in your body. It's also a very good way to get you more into that calm mode. So sometimes you have to do something more dynamic, like what I'm going to show you now, and only after that you can become still, which is what I'm gonna talk about in the next episode. Okay, so it's very simple, and you can do it without any equipment, without any mat. You don't really need much for that. There are a few versions of it, but I think the easiest one of all is the bounce. All right, so it goes like this. The motor of this action is somewhere in your feet, in the springy feet. And this movement starts from the feet and then it travels all the way up, affecting your entire body, all the way to your head. But there's a very big difference when you do it with your body tense and everything is like really contracted, and then there's a lot of impact. It's not pleasant at all, and it in fact doesn't really do much. So the way to think about it is that you have springs in all your joints, starting from the ankles, moving through the knees, hips, all along the spine, and to the joints in the shoulders, arms, all the way to the neck. And that movement is soft in a sense that everything in between your body is like really, it's really soft. It's really like a rag doll. And then you find the rhythm of it. So it might be something super slow, but you still want to get the momentum with that. So if it's gonna be like two separate movements, then it's not really gonna work. You want to find your rhythm. It can be faster, it can be slower. You will see what works better for you, but you want it to kind of roll on its own in a sense. And it might feel a little bit tiring, especially if you experience something that's called adrenal fatigue. So if your energy is really low, but then you can do it a little bit more gently and slowly, but try to give it a chance. So it really takes a while to have its effect. And the main idea is that you really want to find and access some joy in the body as you do it. So that vision, that visualization that can help you is a soft body. Or maybe even you could imagine that you have water inside of your body and you're just shaking it all up. So as you're making that bouncy movement, there is this letting go and more of softness coming to your calves and to your thighs. And as your awareness travels upwards, you might notice that you were actually holding something before. So there is this moment when you realize, oh, I don't need to squeeze my buttocks. I don't need to bring my belly in. I don't need to contract the pelvic floor up. I can all let it go, and it's fine. Nothing will happen if I don't hold it. So you want to notice how it all starts shaking and it becomes really loose. And the same applies to the upper body, and especially the shoulder girdle. So to access the shoulder girdle, sometimes it makes sense to lean forward a little bit so that your shoulders and arms and wrists start kind of jumping like in a puppet. It can happen, of course, when you're in the vertical line as well, but sometimes it's just easier to feel it when you lean forward. So you can experiment with that. And you might notice that maybe everything is relatively soft, but your head is still like really rigid. And there's nothing weird about that, as the head is our headquarters, and we're really very protective about it. So that is the part that's kind of hardest to let go. So you could play with that idea that your head is bobbing like on the waves, but it might not happen straight away, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe other parts of the body are already getting that benefit. And you might already notice that there's something happening to your breath, and you might have that natural urge to sigh, or to breathe in deeper, or maybe even to yawn. And those are all really good signs. Those are precisely the signs that something does happen to your nervous system, and it is getting into that switching to a different mode, to that rest and connect or rest and restore mode. And you could experiment with various ways of bouncing. So sometimes it feels quite nice to add a little bit of rotation around your own axis. It might work for you, it might not. Maybe it makes you dizzy, and then of course that's not what you'd like to do. You could even, when you're getting tired, try to use one leg at a time more. So it's just a matter of where you keep more weight and which leg feels more engaged. So there are really lots of ways to do that. And sometimes when you really feel that you need a lot of movement, you really want to kind of make it shake out, there are other ways you could do. For example, you could make it more like an actual jump. And there is one more method which is going to make your heart rate much faster. So it's really going to bring you up to this sympathetic nervous system for a moment. But it also might feel like a nice release for the body. And this is so-called belly dance movement. Okay, so the way it goes is actually quite interesting, that belly dance doesn't start from the belly, it starts from your knees. And it is a micro bend in the knees where you're alternately bending very, very, very quickly right and left knee. And again, if you keep your body rigid, then it's not going to make that do much. But if you let everything be super soft, you will notice that everything is shaking. And of course, it's going to change the way you breathe. And just make yourself part of this movement. So the knees are leading and the rest is just following. And I really, really invite you to add the movement. So maybe this is very intense and you don't really want to do it at all, or you want to do it only for a short moment. But again, after that, it might be this reaction. And sometimes you can add the sounds to that as well. And sounds are really another way where you can easily sound with the breath. It allows you to let go even more. So if you can, if there's nobody around to, listen to you and think that you're very weird, go ahead and do all sorts of sounds as you breathe out. It might feel very good indeed. And you can go on with this for quite a while, changing the movement, changing the pace, but still kind of going on with the bounce, with your rhythm. But then eventually you want to start slowing down. So maybe if you were rotating, you don't rotate anymore. Maybe that pace is now much slower. That reverberation seems much less visible. And you go slower, slower, gentler, gentler, until eventually your body comes to a halt. And then notice what happens when you stop. So again, you don't want to stop in a rigid form when you have locked knees, when you're like trying to stay straight. You stop in that soft way. So there's a micro bend at the end and the back of the knees. You're not trying to pull the shoulders down or back. And you can even, maybe just for a moment, shift the weight forward and backward a couple of times so that you find a place where your body naturally sets and it feels the lightest. So it's going to take a while until all of the sensations will start going down. So your heart rate will start slowing down, your breath rhythm will change eventually. So you really don't need to force it in any way. You wait until it calms down on its own. At the same time, observing how much more alive you feel. Maybe there is this feeling that you really have that connection through your feet to the ground. Maybe there is the feeling of warmth or tingling or pulsation all over the body. It feels that you are whole. So notice all of that. Notice what it does to you, how you're feeling now as compared to when you started. And of course, if you feel like lying down or like you're ready for stillness, now you are ready for it. But I will get more into that in the next episode. So I hope that you really enjoyed it and you found it releasing. You can leave me some comments. And I will see you in the next episode. And in the meantime, if you'd like to learn more about my methods and get to know every Monday some snippets of information, how your nervous system works, how you can deal with your anxiety from the body, working with your body and your nervous system, then please subscribe to my newsletter. I have included the link in the description below. So see you next time and have a lovely week. Thank you.